The George the Tech Performer Friendly Podcast is brought to you by Full Compass and FullCompass.com. We know VO. And
GTT.
Not sure if your audio sounds professional? A sound check by George the Tech removes all doubts and explains the next steps. Audiobooks, podcasts, or voiceovers. For content creators, we do it all. New customers get 20% off with coupon code XPTO.
George the Tech.
It's really hard to keep believing in yourself. I get it. And it's very discouraging. There's no way that I've figured out around that. It is just a hard career path.
I've heard somebody say something like, when you know that you can't not do it.
That's right. That's kind of what I'm alluding to, right?
You have to do it.
What else are you going to do? And if you have a list of other things to do, then go do those things. There's nothing else on your list except taking
I have no other
class.
equitable skills, as a lot of actors say.
That's right. I have no marketable skills. Yeah. No, but I mean, if you start feeling that way, you should probably do those things. If you feel like what you just alluded to, which is like, I don't know that I can do anything else. I need to do this. Stick with it.
Yeah.
Also, I would advise doing things that augment that. Getting in an improv group, starting an improv group, going to acting classes, being around more actors.
Get over your nerves, right? Get over your nerves,
right.
Your self-consciousness of that, all that stuff.
Right, and get in these kind of workouts that we mentioned, all that kind of stuff, just like keep alive in the world of that world is going to help you get past some of these difficult times. And there will be difficult times.
George the Tech.
Hey, everybody, it's George the Tech. Thanks for joining me again on another GTT Performer Friendly Podcast. We've got somebody that should have been on here long ago, but the connective tissue has come together to bring along today for a sit-down, Andy Lerner, who, if you're in voiceover, should not need much of an introduction, but I've got a short one, and I'll read it for you. You're a voiceover coach. She's a casting professional, producer, writer, and actor with decades of experience. Oh, an engineer, I found out, across radio, television, and animation. And his work includes directing and casting for Nickelodeon's SpongeBob SquarePants, giving him a front row seat of how some of the most iconic and animated performances are created. With a career that spans both sides of the glass, Andy brings a unique perspective on what truly makes a voice performance connect, not just creatively, but in terms of what actually gets actors hired. Today, he's known for helping voice actors cut through the noise, trust their instincts, and deliver reads that feel real, grounded, and bookable. And here he is, Andy Lerner.
Hey, that's quite the introduction. Thanks, George. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Well, it's really a pleasure to see you again. Mm-hmm. I say again because we ran into each other at the baggage carousel.
That's right. We were waiting for our luggage together. It was kind of romantic. Yeah.
while we were in Atlanta, and I mean, I think that was the only time we probably saw each other.
Yeah, I think that was the first time. And then I saw you running around in there, but I never caught up with you again. Yeah.
That's VO Atlanta, right?
Oh my God,
you're just
that was my first one.
It's like connecting. Oh, it was.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Well, while we're on the topic, what was your impression of that whole experience?
I mean, first of all, it's. For me, it's unprecedented to see that many voice actor and voice-related people in the same place. So it was really kind of fantastic. And there was so much energy there. It was really great. And meeting people I've only sort of either done Zooms with or talked to on the phone. There was a lot going on there. There's a lot to keep up with. I had done the Dallas Grave for the Brain conference, the One Voice last year.
That's a good warm up.
Well, apparently that's exactly what it was. I mean, and I was kind of used to that. I was like, wow, this is, but wow, it was really a surprise to go to Atlanta. But it was really great. It was great to see everybody and had a few laughs with a lot of folks, and it was good.
Who was somebody that you were really glad to get to spend a little bit of time with?
Well, oddly enough, I had been trying to get a hold of Rob Paulson for a while. So it was really, oddly enough, I mean, it's, we both live in LA and we both sort of travel in some of the same circles, but especially since things changed around COVID, you don't see anybody anymore. So It was fun to see him. There's a handful of people. Billy Colora from CSD in New York, who I was on the phone with or emailing every day in the 90s and early 2000s, never met in person. Like,
oh man.
yeah. So there's a lot of those kind of stories that were really, really fun to sort of finally meet the folks in Kirk.
I think that's the energy that keeps VO Atlanta going year after year, is that these folks not just want to be there to learn, but they want to be there to connect with their colleagues that they just don't get to see anymore.
Even my own agent. I spent more time with my agent at the VO Atlanta than I have in the last 10 years.
I know Tim Freelander, who's of course in LA, one of the founders of NAVA. He and I have ongoing running joke about how we only ever see each other at VO Atlanta.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. Tim's great. I love Tim.
Oh man. Well, that's great. I'm glad you got to be there and got to experience.
Yeah, it was really good experience.
Well, we were talking about before we hit record that I'm wanting to make these connections between people in talent, casting, directing, writing, and the tech side and bridging the gap.
Yeah.
You may be even more so suited to this, because when I reach out to and connect to folks like yourself to sit down for this, they almost always say, "Oh, I don't know anything about this tech. Yeah. Why do you want me to be on your show?" And I'm like, well, the whole point is for us to bridge the connection between what I'm doing and what you're doing. Yeah. But you do actually have.
I have a background. I started as an audio engineer in the late 18th century. So I do have a background in there, and I understand audio, and but things have changed so much since when I was doing that. I don't keep up with it, other than I have my own rig. I get it, but
things change, but the fundamentals, I like to say, are evergreen.
Well, it's kind of an amazing thing for me to see, because now the norm is everybody has something in their house or access to something that they own. And it couldn't be done back in the day. You were going to a studio all the time. And in LA, for an actor, that meant basically spending the day in your car, because you're going from an audition to a gig, and, and everything's, 20 miles away. So, so that's changed too. But yeah, just the amount of quality gear you can have for yourself right now at a relatively inexpensive. I built studios when I came to LA, and spent.
When was that?
Approximately. I had one production company that changed names, but we also changed locations a few times. I built, oh my God, I built 3 separate facilities on the west side of LA, in Santa Monica and Venice.
Oh, in Venice. Do you know where I am right now?
No.
Venice.
Probably in my old studio, you son of a gun.
Well, I'm not. I live in Lincoln Place, which used to be Oakwood Apartments.
Oh gosh, yeah. I stayed there when I moved here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's changed a lot since you were there. Because it's been bought and completely remodeled, and a beautiful fitness and pool center and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I think they remodeled the one over here in Burbank too. So yeah.
Yeah. So it started in Venice.
Well,
that you were running this production.
I'll back up further. I was recording engineer, and I was working in Boston in a couple studios doing commercials, mostly some music, mostly at night. And I found that I really wasn't A, that good at music, and B, the hours for doing music are usually start after 9 o'clock at night.
Nocturnal.
Yeah,
it's a nocturnal thing.
So it was hard to do both if you wanted to be doing commercials and dealing with ad people during the day, and you didn't want to be cross-eyed the whole time. So, and then I went freelance there, and then I built a studio in Boston and started my radio house, which was Radio in the Nude, and had studios there. And it kind of blew up in the 90s, and then I moved it to LA and built studios in Santa Monica, and then outgrew those studios within a couple of years and built a bigger facility, and then moved out of that facility.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You built a facility, outgrew it, built a facility, outgrew it more than one time?
Yeah, well, the second time someone made me an offer to buy it, and I was like, well, I'm not stupid. I can build another one of these cheaper than I just did. So someone,
Yeah, because you learned a lot of what not to do and what
well,
to do on that.
by that time, it was the third studio I'd built in my career, one in Boston and two in LA. So then I moved to another, which actually was my favorite of the three. Probably it was kind of a cool place down in on Main Street in Venice, near Marine. And
Oh yeah.
so yes, but we also booked our own studio all the time because we were writing and producing commercials for clients and producing commercials for ad agencies that we didn't write, and the studio was busy all the time. I never had to like sort of get in the business of selling time that much as far as outside.
Not a ton of
stuff, yeah.
sales, marketing and sales.
Well,
That's good.
it's just
That's
it was
good, yeah.
that was the sort of the model to it. All the radio houses sort of had their own rooms, so they could just get in there and do their stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so we were, as you might take a hint from the name, hopefully we were mostly doing comedy, and so we had a lot of fun, and I got to work with some of the greatest actors, and a lot of those actors are animation crossovers because you're just getting funny comedic acting talent in. So it was really, really a great time, and then the internet came in, sort of changed all that.
Early 2000s.
Yeah, they
late 2000s.
and people started doing their casting online, and then I found myself sort of having to explain the value added of having a casting director to people, and I was like, wait, am I explaining what I do for a living here?
Wow.
Yeah, because it's just a new generation of folks that were used to doing it a different way, and they didn't really understand, and so. So things changed, and eventually I closed those studios and went on my own for the rest of the time. So,
did those studios remain studios?
Well,
or did you just say it's time to liquidate that equipment?
I don't know if you know Big Joe Sound, Joe Ramos. He's a great guy. He actually worked for me for a while, and then he took over the first studio and ran that for another, I think, a decade or somewhere around that. And then he left, but. Yes, I think that I know that the last studio I have is being run by one of these radio apps where they're doing content in there. I went in there one day a couple of years ago just to see. And
like an iHeart radio kind of thing?
Yeah, I forget what it is. It was a popular app for a while. I think it's still popular. I just can't remember
Pandora.
Right now. But something like
Pandora,
that. Where
something like that, yeah.
I think you could... Well, they were generating their own content, and you could listen to some radio stations through their app or something like that.
Got it.
But it was funny. They had turned my booth into the control room, and the control room into the, I don't know what they were up to. So, and I don't know how they actually pulled that off because I know how it was built. So it's weird.
So your basis was more technical. More engineering.
When I started,
but
it quickly became something else. And as an engineer, I started opening my big mouth and offering opinions on what we were doing in the commercials. And,
you had the guts to speak up.
Well, it was gradual. It wasn't like one day I walked in and said, "Now you must listen to me." But and then people started asking for my opinion, and then people started just asking me to do stuff for them. And so it grew into more of the creative business of making commercials and writing and teaching actors what's going on. And so it sort of evolved from there. And I don't think I've actually engineered a session in decades, but aside from my own auditions and stuff here.
Sure. You discovered that you had a bug for the more actor-facing creative.
Well, comedy was really always at the core of it, and I sort of chased that, and still, so grateful to be involved with some amazing comedic projects now. So it's worked out pretty well on that end, yeah.
So the comedy side of things is what really kept you engaged and driven.
Yeah. Some of the ad writers that I became friends with were just amazing comedy writers. They were using those skills to make commercials. And at that time, commercials were way funnier and there were more of them, and the rules were different, so you could get away with a little more. And so we did. And
a lot less celebrities in them.
There's a lot less celebrities, and if oddly enough, I think probably if we were using celebrities, we were making fun of using celebrities. Like it would be a joke on
more
itself.
Tongue in cheek.
Yeah, we were pretty. If we did that, we were parodying the idea that that's what we were doing.
This is the era of like Spuds MacKenzie,
right?
Stuff like that.
I mean, there was a lot of crazy stuff and stuff that you could not even think about airing now. The rules have changed. I mean, I don't think comedy's changed, but what you're allowed to hear has changed. And
is it a PC thing? Is it
sometimes?
an FCC
and sometimes
thing?
it's just pushing the boundaries
societal
of what's
norms,
tasteful, and I mean, a lot of this stuff now would be either considered gross or sexist or whatever it might have been.
Right.
And
do you think that's something that evolves and cyclically, or do you think we're in a general gradual path towards
Puritanism?
Do you remember the movie Demolition? Well, do you remember the movie Demolition Man? I love this freaking movie. Long time ago. But in that movie, it was the future, and everything was so PC.
Right. It's feeling like that's where it's been going for a while, doesn't it? Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
that's
it's not something that we're going to bridge.
Podcast right there. I mean,
we're not likely going to cycle. I guess what I'm saying is we're not going to cycle out of that.
I think you have to go to a comedy club now to find that. There are a couple of comics, and they're considered dark when several years ago it just might have been considered funny.
Right.
And those guys really appeal to me because it's sort of what I came up on, that kind of
dark. There's blue.
There's blue.
Is there dark blue?
I like dark blue. Dark blue is good. Yeah. But I mean, there's a couple of comics I know who are working clubs that are, to me, devastatingly funny and wrong. And that's okay with me. I mean, everybody has different tastes, but it's what you could air. I mean, there was stations would screen the stuff that you're going to send them. And
yeah,
I mean, it was at the point, there was a client I had for an alcoholic beverage back in the 90s, I guess. And they had no budget. Their orders were literally, get us something that gets us in the press. And they knew that they would get more mileage out of people talking about their commercial than people hearing their commercial. And so my friends created this insane
viral before social media.
That's right. I mean, but yeah, they wanted it, and it was, their brand was sort of this cutting edge. It was a cider product, hard cider, and it was kind of one of the first of them. And so they just wanted to be edgy for college kids and be a little nuts, and they did. And they got they aired a spot, and it got pulled, and then that became the press, and that was exactly their plan. You'd be hard pressed to find somebody thinking that way these days, because if they got pulled, it's a much more dangerous situation now than it used to be.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, I'm dancing around it, but I want to at some point now get to the point of talking about how a SpongeBob happens.
How a SpongeBob?
Where in the creative process were you? Are you very early days?
No.
Were you?
I think there was a little correction there. I'm not involved in the casting. Nickelodeon has a casting department. I'm only involved as a voice director.
Voice director.
And so a few years ago, Tom, as I mentioned, when I was doing all those comedy commercials, I became friends with a lot of comedic actors and stuff. And one of them was Tom Kenny.
Tom was best friends with a comedian, Bobcat Goldthwait.
Yes, Bobcat. So, in fact, they went to high school together.
Yeah, they were buds.
And it was Bobcat and Tomcat. It right. was. And Bobcat's great. Tom's introduced me a couple of times. Yeah. But a few years ago, unbeknownst to me, Nickelodeon had SpongeBob. They had the Patrick Star Show, and they had Camp Coral, 2 spinoffs and they were doing a SpongeBob movie, all of which Tom Kenny was directing at the same time. and they thought he was probably going to die if he kept doing that. So he asked them if he knew anybody, and I am forever grateful that he brought my name into the mix. And so they brought me on to essentially take over one of the shows, but then they couldn't figure out how to do that logistically, because this is towards, it was during COVID still, I think, and everybody was scattered and nobody could be brought into the studio, and it was kind of a logistical nightmare.
They were sending out USB mics to all the cast.
Well, it's funny, they set up a couple of guys with rigs to travel with, because like Clancy travels all the time. He's on shoots all the time. And so he has a little suitcase he takes with him. I was there when he came in. I was working with him a few months ago, and he brought it in for repairs. So it was kind of funny.
Did he? Yeah.
He just said, "No, give this to the."
Well, I remember. I've been working with Lori Allen
she's
for almost forever, and she said they gave me this Apogee mic. She's like, I already have a mic. Why are they giving me this little mic? And then I have another MacBook Pro. I have to put that in my booth, and I'm like, well, they have a whole system.
Yeah.
And they're remote controlling everything.
It's funny. I don't think they dictate what gear the actors use, but for those road rigs that they gave everybody, I believe that they're all pretty much the same.
Yeah, they wanted uniformity.
Of course. I mean,
the way they could control
one guy, it sounded like he was recording in a different country somewhere.
Yeah. Plus with that mic, not getting a little technical. I know that mic in particular that you can control all of its aspects from software. So the engineer logs into the machine. They're running the session. They're controlling the mic gain, et cetera. Doing it all remotely, right? So that made a lot of sense. Right?
They seem to work well. I mean, it's a funny thing, because it's pretty rare that they get the whole gang together in the studio these days. So most of the stuff I'm doing, even though I go in the studio because I like being in the studio, that's as opposed to doing a Zoom session. Sometimes some of the actors come in and do one-offs, and sometimes they're at home doing one-offs. It's not often that you get more. Well, I did one with 4 or 5 of the cast members a few months ago, but it's not that often anymore.
What was it like joining the show when it was already very, very established?
Yes, very much so.
All the spin-offs, the feature.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was intimidating. I'm not going to lie. You walk into a franchise like that, you're the new guy in a million ways. And they're used to a certain style, a certain rhythm, a certain session procedure, and you have to learn.
They all gel in a way.
Yeah, so
it's a machine. You're a new component.
Yeah, and and a lot of my worry was just, because I know how to direct, it was about fitting in. Because my style, is sort of, I've been on my own for a long time, and my style is sometimes a little abrupt and a little caustic sometimes, just because I'm having fun. I'm not trying to hurt anybody, but I'm a little sarcastic.
Did you get any needle scratch moments?
Not.
You know what I'm talking about? You say something and then
there's dead
everyone's
silence
like,
with 16 people on Zoom, and no one said anything. I was worried. Also, I'll be completely honest, it's a different era. You were talking about PC. The workplace is a very different place than, and certainly my shop. I was running my own shop, so it's going to reflect my values and my personality. And now you're dealing with a giant corporation. I remember one of the first, I shadowed Tom a couple of times just to sort of get... And his style is very different than mine. And
physically, you were physically with him.
Yeah, I was
like literally shadowing him.
I was shadowing.
Physical sense.
They wanted me to shadow a couple of sessions, and they were heavy sessions. We did a shit ton of work in a very short amount of time. Yeah. But then I the first one I did was on Zoom because they weren't letting you back in there yet, and there was probably 15 people on the Zoom session, but everybody's cameras blocked off, and all you see is names. And I don't know who they are, what power they might have, what their input is. One of them could have been the president of Paramount. I literally did not know.
Name. No, director, producer, writer. They didn't have titles. They were just names.
Like Bill Smith, and here you go.
Yeah.
And then Bill Smith would say something, and I'm like, well, what's Bill Smith do for a living? I don't know what's happening. So it was a bumpy.
Trial by fire is what
but But it also made me aware of, like, behave yourself. You don't know who's there. And I behave myself anyway in general, but, sometimes to get a performance, I'll push a little bit and have some fun with an actor. And I needed to sort of check myself a little bit until I sort of figured out who was who. And the other thing is, there were people there that never spoke who ended up being very important to the production process. And I find out that they're all sort of talking to each other on chat and getting input from people I haven't spoken to. So,
wow, there's so much going on.
Well, it's a very different thing. Like in commercials, you have a writer and maybe a director in there or a producer. Sometimes they're all the same person. And the decisions are made with a very small group of people. In this case, there's a lot of people, and it's not a director's medium by any chance. You're helping the showrunners get what they want. Most of my work, because you asked what was it like coming into this thing, I'm not going to walk in there and tell Squidward that he's doing Squidward wrong. It's not, those kind of notes aren't going to happen. So it's all about making jokes land and making sure scenes work, even though you might only be recording one person from that scene. It's more of those kind of ideas as opposed to, you're not performing exactly what we want, or it's...
Right. Here's the joke. Here's how the joke works.
That's right. And we might need to shuffle that around a little bit. We might have to literally say, you know what, put that word at the end. It's going to land better, whatever it is. But these folks are so good. You mentioned Lori. All of them are very, very talented, comedically amazing.
Lightning a bottle, I think of when I think of this room of people.
It's insane. And so, like, if I gave even this, and this has happened 100,000 times already, the smallest note, like, hey, can we XYZ? They'll take that and give me 6 variations on that, all of which were better than my idea, which is exactly what you want. This isn't about me. Yeah, no. I mean, and that kind of collaboration is very invigorating and really fun. And it's really a highlight of my career to be working on that show. It's really fun.
Well, because you came in, again, you did come in during the pandemic. So you came in when it was a very different workflow.
That's right.
That's presume.
Right. And it's funny because...
ever return?
Sorry?
Did it ever return to like pre-pandemic production methodologies?
No, everybody has their own rig now. I think people have adjusted and enjoyed not having to go anywhere. I like going in. That's just because of my background. I like being with an engineer, and I like the atmosphere of being in the studio. It's sort of where I spent most of my adult life, so I enjoy that. And Tom, who plays SpongeBob, he directs from home. He performs from home, and many of the other actors do. Oddly enough, I was right around the time of Atlanta. I was still out of town, and they booked me to do some pickups with D. Bradley Baker, and I haven't been in the same room with D. Bradley ever. And it turns out while I was gone, he ended up in the studio, and I couldn't be there. So it was really funny. Oh. The other thing about, like, D. Bradley, he has a place in Colorado too. So he has 2 setups, and he has the same background for both. And I don't ever know where he is. It's kind of fun.
He's a pretty, right? He's genius.
Oh, Jesus.
Dude, right? He's very technical too. Like, he has a website that talks about every aspect of
gear.
voiceover.
Yeah.
He knows his gear. He's very opinionated.
But he's also
very talented.
I mean, the stuff that he can do, it's so unique, the kind of sort of vocal footprint that he has. It's ridiculous.
He's known for his animal
and just noise. Just
noises.
He's in a lot of movies that you probably haven't heard about, where he's just playing a creature that snorts. Who knows what it does? He just does all these very interesting things. I've never seen anybody like him. I really haven't.
He's so unique.
A sweetheart.
And I know he likes getting out on the lecture circuit, so I've seen him.
Yes, he's done some talking. That's great. Yeah, they're all. But all of them are. Clancy, all of them.
Tom is an amazingly sweet gentleman.
Yeah,
I got to meet him at a charity event. Tara Strong is a client of mine. I've done a few studios for her.
Who doesn't like Tara?
And she said, "Hey, I'm going to this charity, and would you want to meet?" I don't remember if she introduced me as saying, "Do you want to meet Tom?" or that Tom happened to be there. I don't remember how it came together, but whatever. We were all there, and she was in the lineup doing autographs, you know. And I got to the end, and then Tom was there, and she's like, George, this is Tom, this is George, and he has a podcast. And I was doing my own live show at the time called East West Audio Body Shop 10 plus years ago. And Tom not only was like, yeah, I'll do the show. And he's like, and I was talking about tech stuff. And he's like, oh, I'm technically averse. You know, I hate.
He just wants to walk in and do it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so not only did he come on the show, but he physically showed up at my house.
He's that guy. Yeah. He's definitely that guy.
I was like, what? And he's like, you're not going to believe this. And you know, at that time we were doing the show. So the guest was the second half.
Right.
So he had to sit in the living room of my house. I lived
you did the first half
Santa
of your
Monica,
show.
And he's sitting out there with my daughter, who at the time was just too young to know who this guy
that's
is.
Hilarious.
She was probably 4 at the time, and my wife at the time, and he's just chilling out there with them for like 40, 45 minutes. And he comes in and he goes, oh, it was so weird. I was in the airport and flying back from a charity thing, and I get accosted by TMZ asking me questions about Elmo and whether, you know, this is when the whole Elmo thing happened. And it was just like such a bizarre experience, you know. But he was such a sweet guy.
He's terrific. And obviously, I owe the world to him for getting me involved in the show. But he's fantastic. All of them are like that, though. And it's funny you mentioned the autographs. You know, I went to one of these signing conventions. You know, Robbie Rist is a good guy you should have on your show sometime. You haven't already.
Robbie Rist.
He's a good buddy of mine. Yeah. And I went to Anaheim. They had one of these Nostalgicon or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And we were just going to go to dinner, but I walked in there and there were 2 enormous lines. One was for Tom. One was for Rob Paulson. Everybody else, you know, a couple of people here and there. It's not like they weren't getting any attention, but it was amazing. And they're very good about like understanding that those characters mean something to a lot of people. And Tom and Rob, especially, I know, give a lot of time to folks and fans and accommodating autographs and voice messages and those type of things. Not that you should go asking for all that stuff all the time because they need a break, but they're very generous. Good people.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Tara's that way as well.
She's great.
Giving to the fans, connecting to the fans, understanding who her fans are, even going to the point of creating a voiceover school called Voicelings, which where she's trying
to. It looks fantastic, and I've steered a couple of people over there already. And if you don't know it,
it's really
look it up. The Voicelings from Tara Strong looks like a really good idea and kind of a fresh approach to helping animation voice actors get going and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's just such a compassionate move because she knows who her fans are, and so many of them are neurodivergent spectrum folks, like me. And so she gets us, and she like says, you know, these folks need an outlet. They want to connect with this career. Their odds of booking are obviously going to be low, but that is for most
It's amazing
people.
though.
But they have an outlet. They have a community. They can connect and be free to perform.
Yes, and you mentioned their outlook might not be that great for some of them. But I have to tell you, because she does a lot of stuff on social media, and I've discovered a couple of people that I keep my eye on who are sort of coming into their own with whatever limitations they may have. There's a lot of talent there too, and it's kind of remarkable to sort of keep an eye on those things. She's got some good folks.
I'm so much more, I don't know, sensitive to the neurodivergent community.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I grew up with folks that way. My brother's friends, like I didn't realize what that was. I just knew they were different, you know, and now that I go out to a lot of events and I meet a lot of people in person, I start recognizing, oh, you're a little different. You're a little different. You're a little different. Oh, I see. You're different too. Okay.
Yeah. And if you speak of VO Atlanta, there's a really strong contingent of people, neurodivergent people there who are, it was great. I mean, I had a good handful of encounters and a couple people in some of my workshops. And it's, what's funny is their enthusiasm and interest and passion for this is so much more evident than the normal working actor. You know, they're really excited about doing it. It's fantastic to see.
It's so true.
Yeah.
So obviously SpongeBob being such a hit show takes a lot of there's a lot of attention around it. But while you were doing that, did that mean that everything else goes on the back burner, or is that just a gig?
Oh no,
and you're still doing other shows, and you're juggling all.
It's a priority gig for me. If I
did you have to walk away from anything?
No.
To dedicate your time.
I wasn't that kind of. Yeah, no, I didn't have that level of work. So it was a gift in a lot of ways, getting the work and it being in that level of. I mean, you walk into a show. It's been the number one show for 26 years. It's it's a lot. They've been great. Their workload has slowed down a little bit since that time when they brought me in, because one of the shows got killed and they finished their movie, whatever it is. So it's not as consistent as it was until recently. But I'm not. And if I was, I'd be making room for it, because it's not just about the work for me. I just love being around those folks and getting to collaborate with them. And you give me 5 minutes with Bill Fagerbakke and I'm happy. It makes my week. So I've never given anything up for it, but I have definitely made sure I show up for it. So
there's just such a purity of spirit in so many of those folks.
Well, it's just, and it's kind of a cool thing to see, because, I'm now friendly with the showrunners, and that comes down from all of those guys. And after that sort of that time period with the same characters, the same kind of ideas, living in that world, and you can imagine how hard it is for the creators to keep coming up with something fresh and that hasn't been done before in another episode.
Oh man! Yeah.
But they really they love it so much and care about it so much. You kind of end up by default having the same kind of feeling about it. And they're all great collaborators. Nobody's ever pulled rank on me. No one's ever they've started having the showrunners on the sessions now, even if it's on Zoom. And it's never been like, no, I want to get it this way. It's never been anything like that. It's always like, oh, cool, let's try one more. Maybe we can do something like this. It's always adding on and never sort of stop what you're doing, or, what I mean? It's always sort of a positive direction.
Yeah.
Which is
I feel like people know what sorry, I'm going to do a jargon break. Okay.
You should have it.
I think a lot of people know what goes on film. There's a director, a writer,
right,
producer, but showrunner is something that's unique to television, right? Mm-hmm. That is a very high title job on the show, right?
And
it's their baby.
They feel yes, it is their baby. They have a hard job, not just maybe helping write or involved in any aspect of the production, but overseeing that the show is still the show by the time it's done. In other words, we didn't try something that's so far out of what we usually do. We know the characters so well that we're not going to write something, for SpongeBob that SpongeBob wouldn't be able to accommodate, or whatever the character might be. So their vision is all important. I happen to love having them around, not just because they're great folks anyway, but because it's always more of a collaboration than it is like a dictate from anybody, Yeah. And a lot of the stuff we're doing is ADR or pickups and stuff. And a lot of questions, actually more questions sometimes come up from that than original recording, because then you might see, oh, wait, we need to match what happens next. How far do we go? All these kind of questions that they can answer for you. And I love having them there. Not to mention their creative notes were great too.
So ADR is something that's going to happen. Automated dialogue replacement is something that happens in animation as well. So they're going to come back in and reread a line and try to match lip flaps.
Yeah, match the lip flap. And sometimes it's just maybe they didn't like the performance they got on that, or maybe now that it's animated, they need it bigger or smaller or different. And that's what
the animation just came out so much more intense. The voice doesn't quite match the energy.
And sometimes they might just change a word and still have to match the mouth and that kind of thing. But what's great is, I mean, there's again the team there. Like I can ask any question, someone's going to answer it. Like if I say, should we keep going into the next scene? So because he keeps talking and we're only getting this, and someone's there to say, no, we have it, or let's get it just to be safe, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And Manny, the engineer there, is one of the best I've ever worked with. So he's fantastic, and he's always on it. So.
Wow, it's impressive. What I noticed on your site, this is not something that maybe is thrown around quite as in the way that you do, but you have a section called Newbies.
Newbies. Yes.
You're addressing newbies here. So you're doing coaching.
Yes.
Give me a little introduction to why coaching. How did that come to be? Were you berated into doing it? Were you dying to do it?
Well, I mean, the real honest answer is things were slow, and I wanted to see if there was something in that arena for me.
Sure.
And I also feel like, I've done this a long time. I know a lot of stuff. I know a lot of people. Yeah. And as it turned out, I found myself really enjoying. I taught a class for my old college a couple of years ago. It was online. It was a sitcom writing class. Ask me how many sitcoms I've written. But I taught the class. I know how to teach the class, and you
knew more than they did. So
that's right. That's right. I've watched TV, so there's that. But I really found that I enjoyed that idea of teaching people, having people respond in a positive way, and it made me feel good to be able to help some folks. And so it sort of stemmed from there. And that was a few years ago, and it sort of grew into this. And I really enjoy coaching enthusiastic clients. It's really fun to see progress. It's really fun to see their passion and those type of things. For newbies, it's a little different. There's a lot of you just need to give them information about what it is for a good period of time. Forgetting, also trying to build skill set. But
defining terms, understanding jargon.
But just even like, do you know what you're getting yourself into? Like, it's
setting expectations.
I mean, you really have to want it to stay with it. The rejection rate on this is insane. So,
absolutely.
So, and especially, it's funny because a lot of the newbies that I get are neurodivergent. Maybe they heard about me at a Comic-Con or something like that from one of my actor friends. But so there's a lot of, and I'm not trained to work with neurodivergent in any formal way, but I use common sense in it to try and harness all that energy and passion and for a lot of these guys, goofiness into an animation directed career is a challenge, and it's fun and it's rewarding when it works. It's really cool. And there've been a couple of people that have gone through a few hours with me on that, and I was kind of honored to help sort of get them kickstarted. So.
How do you deal with them? How do you walk them through rejection? Because they're going to come to you as a newbie.
Yeah, it's hard
at
because
some point you're going to have to probably tell them this is going to be very hard for you. Maybe it's just not working out. I've
never told anybody you shouldn't be doing this. But I have tried to. It's delicate. And there's a little psychology involved because you want to make sure they understand, and sometimes you don't know if they understand because they want to be SpongeBob or whatever.
They don't give you a lot of they don't give you a lot of feedback sometimes.
Well, right? Because sometimes and sometimes their emotional range is limited, and sometimes you're not sure if you're getting through and that type of thing. So it's delicate and it's hard. But then I don't know how far they end up going after me. I haven't seen any of them really, oh my God, they're on a show or whatever it is. They might be doing work I just don't know about, which is great.
Sure.
But it's very hard to explain to somebody who gets so much from wanting to do it, to temper that with anything is kind of, it's just delicate. And so I try to explain how many people are doing it, how many people have been doing it longer than they have. I try to put them in a context of belonging to that group, but knowing that is a difficult group to be in. if
Yeah,
that
and
makes
you're
sense.
respecting their intelligence.
Yeah, well, of course, and you also, as opposed to directing at them saying, you're never going to make it in this business, kid.
Right.
You
The
want to say
tough.
some of the
hard
best
knocks
people don't make
thing.
it in this business, kid, is kind of where I try to push it.
Right. Exactly.
And that is actually true. So I've worked with amazing people who are waiting tables, and it makes me cry. So,
Tell me about it. What are some things you're hearing? So we'll branch into. We're
gonna do it all, George. All of it right now.
We only have like 12 more minutes.
I want
so
these
we'll
12
figure out
minutes
a point
to be the best of my life.
I do want to talk a little bit about what you're hearing from auditions, right? So this has kind of been my goal this coming summer, is talking to more from the creative side and going, what are you hearing being sent to you? What's coming into you? What are the things that encourage you, and what are the things that you're going, gosh, another person is doing this? Stop it.
It's really hard when you're a casting director. I don't know if you've had Tina on here or ever spoke.
I'm going to.
She's fantastic.
She and I know each other pretty well.
I've known Tina for longer than she wants you to know she's been around.
A decade or
we're
more.
old friends, and she could probably give you a better answer than this. But what makes me respond, this got me in so much trouble in Dallas. What makes me respond to an audition, and it's sort of something that's hard to verbalize, but whether or not they kind of get it. Now that's a big thing. That's a big umbrella.
Yeah.
And I had someone in a panel in Dallas actually say, how do you know if you have it? And I was like, if you have to ask. But
I know it when I hear it.
But there's a certain common sense to it. There's a certain acknowledgement of knowing where the jokes are, knowing where the beats are, whether it's a commercial or animation or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's sort of an innate sense of understanding. And so when I hear that, and they're doing their own thing, I'm not hiring, so many people read the specs, get married to them, and go in the booth, which to me is the worst idea ever. You're never going to second guess what somebody that you never met is thinking about this thing. So just do your thing. Do what you need to do to show them who you are, to what your capabilities are within that limit of that audition. When I hear that, when I hear somebody, and am I allowed to use a little French in here?
It's a podcast, so I'm not monetized. So go for it.
If someone, when I'm listening, I know they didn't give a fuck what I thought of them. Okay? They're going to, this is what I'm hearing for your project. I hope it lines up with what you're thinking too. I have no idea. And when I get that, it's going to be different than everybody else who's following that spec and trying to stay within some sort of boundary. Beyond age range and tonal notes in a spec, I don't know how valuable they are. And I do this, I'm also a voice actor, and there was something I've been auditioning for this week, and it's not due till tomorrow. And I listened to it, and I was doing it. This is not my best stuff. And that was Monday night, and I'm going to record it again today. I just wanted to get away from it for a minute, because I know I'm sort of doing exactly what's expected of this thing. And who cares? They're going to get 400 exactly as expected. You want to be 401. You want to be 401 who just I got an idea. Let me see if they liked it.
I mean, that's what people have to understand. I mean, we say the word in the trenches. You're in the trenches. You're auditioning.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing
I'm
what
being
they're
rejected
trying to do.
just as
You're
much as
currently
everybody
doing
else. Maybe more so.
I mean, that's a hugely unique that's such a valuable perspective of looking at a coach that has such a huge breadth of experience and is also feeling the slings
pain
and arrows.
Is real.
And also the pain, and dealing with the pain of
real.
rejection.
It's hard. I mean, I don't book a lot. I'm one of those folks who reads a decent amount. My agents have been great to me, especially in animation and games and stuff. They send me a lot of stuff to read every week. I don't book that much. I'm up against a lot of folks. I'm also maybe not trained for some of the stuff that I try to do. I get that about myself. I also get the business. So I'm not, I mean, once in a while, like, oh, that would have been a nice paycheck or something like that. But I send them in and I don't think about them that much. Now, I'm also fortunate that I have other gigs and I'm not only relying on this. And if you're starting out and you're only going to rely on your voice business, think twice.
You don't reek of desperation in your reads? Is that what you're saying generally?
He's hired. But, I worked with another actor the other day, and he has a really strong animation reel. And one of the strongest young actor reels that I've heard. It's not booking anything. He's got a great agent. He's floundering like everybody. He's relatively new still, so hopefully he'll catch fire at some point and things will light up for him. But man, it's hard. It's hard when you're, Tom Kenny didn't just walk in one day and say, I'm going to be SpongeBob. Those guys are trained actors with lots of experience with doing nutty stuff.
And music skills as well. Yeah.
Also, all those guys have been doing those characters for 26 years. They're not that old. They've been, they went through 25, 30 years of not doing much. Mm-hmm. I mean, Tom was a stand-up comic and he did other things until he started to gravitate towards this career. But and Clancy was a film actor for decades.
Sure, I know.
You don't just fall into this stuff. You need a foundation. You need training. You asked, and I'll answer late, about some of the neurodivergent clients that I've had. Almost without exception, suggested that they get some acting classes before they start doing the voices, get some improv classes along with the acting, all that stuff, and build a foundation. Because whatever, and yes, sometimes your joy and your passion can carry you through some of that. You need a foundation.
Absolutely. Yeah. From a little bit of a touching on technical, what are things you hear in files that turn you off from a technical perspective that are distracting or just
bad mic placement?
Bad mic placement. One. Yeah. Too far away, too close, off target, all the above.
Or just not even knowing where it's supposed to be. I mean, this is kind of a bug of mine because it's the easiest fix in the world and nobody seems to give a shit. I have a workout on Tuesday nights where 5 or 6 people come in, we read copy and I help them out. And they're in their booth and their mic is like over here somewhere. And you're like, dude, I'm not even going to let you read until you get near that thing. And a couple of them, I thought they were just talking to the computers like I am here. And it turns out they're talking into their mic. And I'm like, build a habit.
Yeah.
Build a good habit. That's all you need to do. So mic placement's a big one.
Yep.
Less often like ambient noise. I had someone's dog barking,
Sure.
Shit happens. I get it.
Yeah.
But if you're serious about it, you're going to build a booth that I don't have to tell you, but you need to treat a room to be in there and make sure it's okay. But most of the time it's bad mic placement. Technically,
do you know what the Rode NT1 sounds like when it's backwards? I'm sure you've heard it.
I bet I've heard even better mics backwards.
This mic is the most because it says Rode on the back and the gold dot is in the front. This one is put backwards more than any. I hear that file. It sounds like they're in a tube, and it's like, oh no, turn your mic around.
Good news is that's how you. That's good. Good news is that's how you make a living.
It is,
But the other thing I hear too is an over-processed and over-edited audition.
I wanted you to say that because I wanted to talk about that. Yeah.
And I know from my own auditioning, and this is from my years of experience, I always preferred a more natural sound than I do. Like, I got to get rid of all my breaths.
Perfected.
No, don't.
Sterilized.
Don't.
Ugh,
People breathe when they talk. I actually sometimes listen for breaths because breaths are a lot of times about timing for comedy. So I actually want to hear them stop and think about what they're going to say. So I hear a lot of that. I hear stuff that's smashed to death. They just somebody's giving them bad advice and they're putting it through some kind of compressor or something that just smashes the shit out of it. And it sounds horrible.
Right.
But the sterilization thing is a big problem for stuff that I hear. I hate. I mean, you guys are all worried about AI. Don't make your stuff sound like it was made in AI.
Exactly.
Because like all the human stuff that we want and want to hold on to, ask Tim Friedlander, it comes from a human performance. People's mouth clicks. People have breathing. They have to do stuff. Now, does that mean leave every noise or extraneous thing in there? No. I mean, if you stop and
Take a
go
big
per area, it's probably good to
gasping,
get rid of one or two of those. But you don't want to clean up your entire track and make it breathless. People don't sound like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you recommend people take I don't know, 2-3 hours before they submit and then go back and listen before
if
they
they have
deliver
the
it?
time.
If they have the time. I know that you don't have the luxury of time.
Not everybody does, especially with that pay-to-play stuff. They seem to have very short deadlines.
Yeah.
But I mean, I gave you an example of what I'm doing. I listened to something the other day. It just wasn't my best work, so I'm going to do it again and try to muster up something else. And you know what? I should actually qualify that too. What I said is true. It's even more true if you're doing a character piece. Breathe. Breaths are going to be part of your character. It's going to help you.
Yeah.
To have them in there. It's going to help your performance sound more human and more nuanced and all the stuff we want.
Everything.
And all of that stuff answers your other question about what am I listening for when I'm screening an audition or something like that, and what gets through and what doesn't. What gets through is somebody who understands these things. I don't want to bring a guy in the booth where I actually don't trust his judgment. And yes, I can make that decision from what you've sent me. Not just on performance, but like, he doesn't know where his mic is. Why is he cleaning this up? He must be afraid of something. What is he afraid?
What's
I
he
start
hiding?
doing all that questioning, valid or not. That's where you've put me.
Mm-hmm.
As a listener, you've put me in a place where I'm no longer considering you for the job because I'm trying to figure out what the hell I'm listening to.
Do you think headphones are part of the problem? Like are part of
I
the
don't know.
enemy?
I use them. It's just because I came up that way, and I feel like I like hearing myself because I'm maybe not as confident without them.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a very common thing.
Complicated.
This is not. Yeah. And if I could strangle everyone, I would. But I've heard some of it from everyone. I've heard a lot of it from some people, and it's just stop. And I think some of this is, there's information out there that says this is a good idea, and I don't know how to counter that. People read stuff or have been coached that way. Oh no, you can't send them something with all those breaths. I don't know where they're getting that information, but it's bad information.
Yeah, it gets out there because I'm hearing the files as well. People send me, I do sound checks, right? People send me their audio and I give them a technical evaluation. Mm-hmm. And I will absolutely jump on them if I hear them deep breathing or worse, literally deleting every breath so that the gaps are all gone. And it's just like on top of each other. I'm like, no.
Well, yeah.
You lost all your time.
This is, and I saw something, or maybe I was talking to somebody about this. Most folks have to have some basic engineering common sense to do their own auditions. You have to know how to edit. You need to stop worrying about sending me the cleanest file in the world and send me the best performance, whether it's riddled with breaths or not. Again, if there's one or two giant offending things, sure. Mm-hmm. But like you say, leave the space there. You're not cutting it for time. It's not a legal tag. Let it rock.
How do you coach people out of their OCD tendencies? Because I'm hearing them. I'm working with people all the time. They're like, but I hear this little, and I'll tell you what, it's the people using Adobe Audition with Spectral View. They're in there doing they're
seeing every little
their Van Gogh, painting out every little flaw. And I'm like, stop.
No. A sterile read means just that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to have any emotion left in it. It's not going to have anything that makes me want to hire you.
Yeah.
I'm going to question what I'm listening to, whether I'm tech savvy or not, as a producer or casting director, whoever's on the other end of this stuff. I just know something's wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Part of my coaching is like, if you're not connected to your copy, I'm not going to know that you were thinking about what to make for dinner. I'm just going to know that you weren't there.
Right.
So when I hear a completely over processed piece, debriefed, compressed, whatever it might be, I know there's some uncertainty on your end. Like, it makes me doubt you as a hire. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It makes me go, why would they, if they're thinking like that, even if they're kind of in the pocket for what I need, I'm probably going to go to the other person who is what I need.
Sure.
It really is that important. And if I hope people can hear me say that. I've done this a long time.
Yeah. What do you do? What do you do to your auditions before you send them out?
Generally, I'll sometimes my auditions are just busted up and I'll put them together. And sometimes there's a giant offending breath or a big mouth noise or something like that because I'm sloppy. I'll clean those little, maybe like if there's a 30-second read, if I pull a breath or two, that's a lot. And it's because they're offensive, not because I want to send them a sterile read.
Are you taking the breath and just reducing it by 15
I'll
dB
grab some,
or room tone?
I'll grab some room tone and just keep that or a similar amount of whatever.
What do you record in? What's your software? What do you use?
You're not going to even like what I have to say. This is how I am.
Well, I don't know. Try me.
I record into GarageBand. I have a Scarlett and I have a 416, and I record into GarageBand and edit in TwistedWave.
Well, that's not totally unusual, but pretty unusual. I mean, a lot of my clients are TwistedWave, start to finish. Yeah. You like GarageBand because
you know what? I don't even know how to edit on GarageBand. I just got used to recording.
It's not good for editing voiceover.
It looks clunky to me, and I'm used to certain look for a sound wave, and and TwistedWave seems to have everything I need.
Do you like the multi-track though for like keeping is that why why aren't you recording in TwistedWave? Maybe I should ask you that.
I don't know. I just never.
It's just habit.
Like I got into a workflow, and this is what works for me.
It's a workflow.
Yeah.
When I'm working with somebody I haven't worked with before, and they tell me their flow, I try so hard to say, "Why are you doing that? That sounds wrong." Like if you've been doing it quite a while and you have a flow, far be it from me to judge what your
efficiency
flow is.
Because of that, and and again, I'm not. If I was building things like I'd have, Avid, and I'd have all the stuff, Pro Tools.
Right.
But I'm not, there was a while I was producing a podcast for somebody a couple of years ago, and I had Pro Tools up, and there's a learning curve there of course, for me, because I just don't see it, I don't actually work with it that often. I don't have a good answer. It's just like, I think I probably started on GarageBand and was trying to edit there and go, God, this sucks. I hate editing on this thing, and then looked for something else, and I got TwistedWave.
Sure.
And it was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm biased. I've known the guy that made TwistedWave since near the beginning. I've been, emailing him saying, "Can you do this?"
Right.
So it's like a software that's been developed by the voiceover industry more than any other DAW out there. That one has been, and it's evolved so much.
And there's a lot of really convenient tools there, for insert silence between takes or whatever I want to, whatever I want to do there. So.
Absolutely. I like Special Paste. Do you know Special Paste?
Oh, maybe you're going to teach me something. What is it?
Oh, you got to use Special Paste, my friend.
Special Paste.
The beauty of Special Paste is you can copy a section of room tone to your clipboard, right? So
gotcha.
Several seconds of room tone.
Sure.
2 or 3, whatever. Mm-hmm. Copy. Now that's in the clipboard. You can paste that all you want. But when you paste room tone, it pastes the entire length of that room tone you copied wherever you paste it. So then you have to trim it back down and make it match.
Gotcha.
With Special Paste, you can copy a room tone. It's in the clipboard. And then you can select the area you want to replace with room tone.
Right. And they'll give you that exact amount.
Exactly. A big mouth smack, a gasping breath, whatever. Select that little range. It could be a quarter of a second.
Yeah.
Hit Command Y. And it replaces that with just room tone. And it's just like a magic eraser.
It saves me a couple steps.
It could save you a step or two.
I'm usually sort of eyeballing the amount that I need and clicking in there. And
exactly.
then
It's
trimming
not
it a
bad,
little
but when you get good at this,
special
and
paste.
you go through, you're going to be like, wow, I will use this a lot more than I thought I would.
I'm going to thank George every day I use it.
Well, I got a little a little debate with Tina Morosco, because she was like, I was telling my client not to do room tone pasting. And I was like, well, I teach everybody to do that. And it came down to a semantic argument / creative choices. But the bottom line boiler of the whole thing was that exactly what you're saying is that people are over editing, over debreathing, and over sanitizing, taking the soul, the energy, the feeling, the rhythm, and messing all that stuff up by
taking the
over-editing.
humanity out of it. You're taking the humanity out of it. It's the irony kills me, because everybody I talk to is scared of AI, and that's what AI sounds like.
I had a person send me a sound
fake.
check, and she said, by the way, I've been accused of being an AI voice. And I listened to the file and I go, now I know why.
I
told her exactly what I was like, you're editing it.
Yeah.
Everything is uniform. Your performance is very, should I say, I wouldn't say robotic, but overly consistent.
That's right.
Like it's just too perfect and structured.
It's too good and it doesn't have any connection anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you take it away. But it's, and also it's just like you're also killing your original intent sometimes by doing that. Like when you're breathing and breaths are intentional, not just for like having enough air to read the next line. Sometimes they're there to give you a beat or to be funny or whatever it might be. Don't ruin your own work.
Yeah. And be a fan of the work you're auditioning for. Whether it's that exact show or the genre. I've had people tell me that during doing an audiobook, and I'm like, oh, what audiobooks do you listen to? And they're like, oh, not really.
I've never heard one, yeah.
I'm like, whoa, you don't have a chance. I mean, first of all, you're not going to want to do this. You're going to hate it.
It's funny, but you hear that in almost every genre. Like, I want to do commercials. Oh, yeah? Yeah, I've only done animation, or vice versa.
Right.
And they've never seen a cartoon, or they've never listened to the radio for commercials, or watch TV for commercials or whatever it is. You hear that a lot. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to work in a genre, understand the genre.
I've purposely canceled my YouTube TV subscription about a year and a half ago. Not YouTube TV, I'm sorry. YouTube Premium. Gotcha. So I was, binge watching YouTube as I do a lot of. I just love to learn, and I'm just addicted to YouTubers. And so I would watch it with no commercials all the time. And I was like, I'm going to do a 2-for-1. I'm going to save $15 and I'm going to start watching commercials, because I definitely want to know. Now, let's just say this. Some of the commercials are garbage, hot garbage.
Oh, they're horrible.
Right. And there's a lot of AI voices. But you are on the bigger YouTubers, the ones with the 100 million subscriber range, right. You're watching television production level commercials, and that's where I'm going to see the majority of my commerars. Yeah. So I
do you know Frank Verderosa?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Frank, I've known Frank for a little while. He talks about what happens to your commercials or to your voiceover when they end up on the air and they get the shit kicked out of them.
Oh, really?
And he sort of has his rants about hearing stuff that's over processed and overdone. If anybody's friends of his on Facebook, you'll see that pop up as a regular topic. Where he's
absolutely, I read his blog too. And I know he's very sensitive to over-processing, and he's like anti-stack and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And, so I take that into account, because I've been doing the stacking thing for 15 years. I've been setting them up for countless people. And I'm listening to the Franks. I'm listening to Tina. I'm listening to casting folks. I'm listening to you now. And all of this is informing me and shaping the way that I choose to process. I won't stop telling people to stack, but I will definitely temper or detune or decompress or whatever it is to make sure that the performance shines through without being sanitized.
Yeah, it is a big topic, and of course, as you found out, it's the first thing that came to mind when you asked that question. It's it's a big deal. And I work with people. I mean, I'm still coaching them, and when I coach, I give homework assignments between coaching sessions, and they send me stuff, and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, be natural, be normal as much as you can. I totally understand that some of them will drive you crazy, some of the breaths will drive you crazy, or some of the noises. We understand that.
You said be normal, but maybe not. Maybe on the second tape, you can be less normal.
Sound unprocessed is the normal I was talking about.
Exactly.
Yes. I don't care what you do with your read.
Well, I don't know what time it is where you are, but it's lunchtime for me. So I want to put a bow on this and say, first of all, it's been a huge blast and fun to sit down with you today.
Oh, same here, George.
I really appreciate you being here. And of course, I want people to know how they could work with you and where they would find you to get on your calendar.
Yeah, my website is andythevocoach.com. Should be pretty easy to remember. I have a Tuesday night workout. It's a small, intimate group of people who come in to read, whether it's their audition or bring in a piece or stuff I bring in, animation and commercials. It's an hour and a half every Tuesday, which you might want to take a look at.
Those are really good idea, you guys. Really good idea to get on those.
Yeah, people seem to really like it, and it's been really interesting because some of the folks who thought they were just announcers are starting to play with animation and vice versa. So it's been really interesting to see, and I enjoy helping folks out. I'm on the session. You'll get a little direction from me. Yeah. You'll get some feedback from the other actors about what you're doing and maybe improving yourself a little bit. So I do that, and then I do regular coaching. All the rates and all that kind of stuff are on my website. Mm-hmm. And also you can just hit me on Instagram, Andy the VO Coach, and get on my mailing list for any special workshops or any of that kind of stuff that I'm doing. I'd love to have you on my mailing list. And keep watching SpongeBob so it keeps going forever.
Darn straight. Yeah. Hey, thank you again. You guys take advantage of that, you guys. Those group do you call them stand-ups or what do you call them? Workouts. Just workouts. So
they're
so important.
And I keep them to where I can handle them. So I think the max I ever do is 7.
Yeah.
So it's so everybody gets some good mic time.
When I get my daughter in a place where she feels confident to record again, she was getting some training in voiceover, but she's not in a place physically where she lives, etc. But that's the kind of thing I need her to be doing because she needs to get over the nerves of reading in front of other people.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happens there along those lines where it is a very safe place to make mistakes, to experiment, to try stuff that you're just going to make you a little uncomfortable. And people use it for that. It's like, I've never tried anything like this. You hear that a lot. Not in that stupid voice that I just did, but you hear that a lot from people.
Are you seeing a dearth of young actors wanting to join voiceover or get into voiceover? There's sort of a little of a murmuring on the social media sphere of like commenting about this, like that it's cringy or the work involved is not going to bear fruit. So why waste my time? Is that something you're seeing?
If you're feeling that way, don't do it. That's what I have to say about that. Right. You know what I mean? If that's where you're at, there are lots of other careers, and some of them will make you lots of money. Yeah, I mean, every actor throughout my history on the planet has complained about not working, and I'm talking about people who are working all the time, still complaining about it.
Yeah, there's always something to complain about.
I know some people who are like, they go a day without a booking and they start to panic. So, yes, you hear it, and I don't know if it's a younger, older thing as much as it's a in this business thing, because it's hard. I mean, tell me another career that has a rejection rate as high as this, and I'll it's just nuts. So, yes, when people start to figure out what's going on, holy shit. There must only be 10 people doing all the voiceovers, and you hear all the different versions of this, right? It freaks some people out and maybe scares some people away, but it's also that I think that's part of any creative process is like, if you really want to or need to be expressing yourself in this way, you're going to stick with it. And it's really hard to keep believing in yourself. I get it. And it's very discouraging. There's no way that I've figured out around that. It is just a hard career path.
I've heard somebody say something like, when you know that you can't not do it.
That's right. That's kind of what I'm alluding to, right?
You have to do it.
What else are you going to do? And if you have a list of other things to do, then go do those things. If there's nothing else on your list except taking
I have no other
class,
equitable skills, as a lot of actors say.
Right. I have no marketable skills. No, but I mean, if you start feeling that way, you should probably do those things. If you feel like what you just alluded to, which is like, I don't know that I can do anything else. I need to do this. Stick with it, Also, I would advise doing things that augment that. Getting in an improv group, starting an improv group, going to acting classes, being around more actors.
Get over your nerves, right? Get over your nerves,
right.
your self-consciousness of that, all that stuff.
Right, and get in these kind of workouts that we mentioned, all that kind of stuff, just like keep alive in the world of that world is going to help you get past some of these difficult times. And there will be difficult times.
Andy, thanks again. It's a blast.
I enjoyed it, George. Thanks so much for having me.
George the Tech.